Boom, boom. Okay. Okay. This is Bridges for Music. Italian producer, DJ class of 92 from Bergamo, Italy, and resident DJ of Bauhaus Party, Cioz joins us today for a quick interview after doing a production session with the Academy co-creators. Join us as we get insight into what makes Cioz tick.
Finally, we managed to get Cioz at Bridges Academy. It's been long overdue. The guy has been coming to South Africa, but we actually felt like it would be nice because of the way he does his music. First time I heard about Cioz, I thought it was like a guy from your Congo, because his music sounds so it's like it was made in Africa. Cioz, how's it, brother?
It's amazing. Thank you very much for being so welcoming. I love it here. You have like amazing talented students, and before we just had like a improvised jam, and it was so nice to record some of the students and having like something going on, and they were so interested and so they were participating a lot. It was so nice.
Amazing, man. I was there. I wish everyone like thinking, how can we get to hear that song? We'll tell you a bit later. So Cioz is actually a very friendly person. We just spent like 3 hours with him, and everyone, he's become so friendly to them, and I don't think he would like to go home now. So, man, I just got a few questions for Cioz. What does the name Cioz mean?
Okay, so Cioz, there's not so much story around it, but it's because of my surname that is Cozzolino. And when I first did my first release, I sent it to a label, and they asked me, okay, we would like to release it. What is your artist name? It was like the beginning of my artist career, and I wanted to have like maybe a particular name or something. Yeah. But in the end, I had only 1 week to think about the name, and I didn't come up with anything like particular that I felt. So I was like, okay, Cioz, as all my friends were calling me, and then it stayed like that. So yeah, in the end, it kept being like.
I mean, it's Cioz, it's your name.
It's my name, exactly. You get used to it, and
exactly.
I love it. Yeah.
So, man, like you inspire us a lot as South African producers and DJs. You're from Italy. Like I said, the type of music that you make, someone would pretty much say that this is probably like, a song from Black Motion, or even though it's different, but it does sound like it has that African feel in it. Yeah. So what really made you to become a musician?
So to become a musician, I don't know. Like I have like in my family, there is my father that was that used to play guitar to me, and it was for me it was something extremely out of the world. I wanted to do it as well because he was doing it. I wanted to learn, and my father is also coming from Naples, and that's why when you tell me like that. It sounds like I'm making music from, I don't know, like an African country. I think it's because of Naples, maybe, because Naples, has always been like a cultural center in Europe, and everybody was going there for trading, to trade, and like a lot of different culture came together there. And I think also like the music from Naples really belongs to the world, and so that's why maybe I have a lot of different influences.
Yeah. Wow. That's nice to hear, man. Because I've been asking myself that, what draws your inspiration? So it's obviously your father. But now, one thing that I always wanted to know, like personally about Cioz, one thing that I've always wanted to know, what makes you stand out from other producers? Because you really stand out, I always check. I'm a big fan of Still for Talent, but your sound, I think you just had to be there. That's like, it was before even I knew that you were going to Still for Talent. I was like, I love Superflu a lot, so I was like, it's got that sound that stands out from other producers. What makes it stands out from other producers?
Man, that's really something that I cannot tell, but I think maybe it can be that I don't try to sound like other producers. And I think this is like the main mistake people do nowadays, because they want, maybe, the aim is to to get released on a certain label. In order to do so, they maybe try to please the sound of the label. Instead, maybe what's really important for everybody as an artist, also for your own mental health, is to do the music you like to do, and to do it for the people that listen to you.
Exactly. Wow, that's amazing, man. Because I feel like it's a no-brainer that if you want to sound different, don't sound like other people. But I mean, you just release a sample pack, and from those sounds, I can easily hear that some of those sounds, like you've got a lot of sound design that you do. I mean, it's also what makes you stand out a lot. You don't download everyone's sounds and then start using them, because that's how a lot of people start sounding the same. But yeah, man, when it comes to, you just talked about releasing music, how often do you think artists should release music?
I think they should release music whenever they have something good to release. Because over-releasing, like releasing too much, and the music is not too good.
True.
It's not healthy for the producer. So whenever you have something really strong, then it's time to release it.
Cool, man. Our favorite producer in South Africa, a lot of the guys, especially on the scene that I'm at, like the afroteih house, there's a lot of people, a lot. I can't really say who's everyone's favorite, but personally, I have my own favorites. But I mean, who would you say is your favorite producer globally?
Wow, that's a difficult question, man. So, in the beginning, like my idols were Superflu, Oliver Kolecki, Paul Kalkbrenner, and him. While growing, I got to know Stimming, and for me is one of a kind.
Yeah.
It's like he lives in his own world.
Exactly.
And it's like, as I was telling before, is not trying to please anybody.
Yeah, true.
And that was a big lesson.
Nice. So, and who's your favorite producer in South Africa?
My favorite producer in South Africa?
Yeah.
Man, there are many, but one that I started collaborating with recently is called Ryan Murgatroyd.
Ooh, Murgs.
And
legend.
and I also did a track with him that is gonna be out this weekend on the Friday 23rd.
Is that on soon?
On Still for Talent for my album.
Wow, that's amazing, man. That's amazing stuff. I can't wait to check that out.
It's called Wachaka, the track.
Wachaka. What does it mean?
I don't know.
I think Cioz doesn't really like being serious, Thinking a lot of time, he just calls whatever he wants to call it.
But in the beginning, the track was called Ciozatroyd.
Ciozatroyd.
A mixture between Murgatroyd and Cioz. And he was like, no, maybe Ciozatroyd. I don't know. So he came out with Wachaka. I was like, yeah, man, sounds so good. He knows, for sure, if you ask Ryan what does it mean, he knows.
He knows it. So you just spoke about Ryan, and that is your favorite producer. Is there an artist anywhere in the world that you would like to work with, and you haven't had a chance to do that?
Oh, wow! This is a difficult question. I think I have to really think about that.
Don't worry, we can come back to it.
Because actually, I don't know. We can come back later with this question.
We can, definitely.
Because I don't know if I want to really collaborate with a producer, but maybe with a musician, like with a crazy good singer or a crazy good pianist or something.
Yeah. I mean, in South Africa, there's a lot of that, especially in Producer Academy. You'd find that there's actually people that come to visit us that make their own instruments.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
That would be amazing.
I think it's much more inspiring for a producer. I mean, it's really important for a producer to meet another producer, to learn from each other.
Yeah.
But at the moment, I'm exploring, also like music theory or the way you play instruments. So for me, it would be super inspiring to collaborate more with musicians and see how they react to music. Wow. I think you can learn a lot from musicians.
Nice, man. I know, I've just met you now. I've been always meaning to see you, but you are such a fun person. I think everyone from the class, if ever, I'm not saying all of the guests we've had are not fun, but bro, you are really fun. You don't take things serious, and I like that about you. But what do you like? What do you like doing that's fun outside of music?
Outside of music,
Outside of working with music?
I like hanging out with friends. We telling telling stories, hanging out, playing board games, or just having a stroll, going around,
Yeah.
playing some sport. Like sometimes, rarely, I go playing football with some friends, like
Wow.
soccer,
Yeah.
with some friends, or some shoots at basketball, or
Wow.
in general sports. It's not something that I like.
I mean, I can just see that you're a person that likes playing a lot. Like I said, you such a fun person. You don't hold back. You really don't hold back. But another question that I'm sure you probably hear this question a lot. I know it's probably boring, but what does it take to finally land a collaboration with Cioz? I mean, you just mentioned it now that you'd like to work with someone that challenges you, someone that doesn't do exactly the same thing that you do. But what does it really take to finally get that collaboration?
I think that I really need to be inspired by that person. I mean, I think there should be like a mutual inspiration. Okay, if there isn't this mutual inspiration, it's not working. It has to work like spontaneously. The collaboration, like I have to say I need to do this collaboration, and on the other side there should be the same. I need to do it. It's like a marriage,
Wow, nice, man. Okay, cool, man. What do you think is the future of African music? Because, I think, especially nowadays, everyone is kind of listening now to African music, be it Amapiano. We just had Gqom. I won't say it's dead, but, a lot of people have started moving to Amapiano now. Afroteih, Afro House is doing amazing things in Europe, to a point where a lot of people are like, why most people that play Afroteih overseas aren't really people from South Africa.
Yeah.
So what's the future of African music according to Cioz?
According to me, I cannot tell the future, unfortunately. I wish. But
I mean, what do you think is the future?
But I think that the future for South African music and South African people, it's bright, man. I see the development that some South African artists are doing here, and it's great. There is like the demand in Europe for some South African artists. I see the crazy development that Desiree had, for example, and she's rocking it.
Yeah, she's amazing.
And man, like, you know what? Like I think that music in general. Load shedding in this moment. It's funny.
If you want to listen to these conversations live and have access to this incredible community, you can join us at our physical campus, the Bridges Academy in Langa, South Africa. A revolutionary learning space where you will find courses on music, entrepreneurship, film, DJing, and much more. For more information on how to apply, visit bridgesacademy.org.
Wow.
But we don't care about load shedding. We're just amazing. I love it. I love always when load shedding happens.
Is it?
Yeah. It's such a funny moment. Anyway, yeah, I think it's great because, like, in general, music follow trends. There are trends, and I think that Afro house music here is part of the culture.
It is.
So
Definitely.
it's not a trend.
Yeah.
It will never die. And because of this, its destiny is to go further and expand.
Exactly. Because, talking about Afro House, and you made me realize that I just said something about Gqom. Gqom was actually, it's an African music. It came from Africa, but it became a trend. We've got something called Amapiano. I'm not sure if you know Amapiano.
Yeah.
Amapiano, it is a trend, but I see it, spending like a couple more years, because it's originally from South Africa. But one thing about Afro House, I think you really, really, really there's no better statement than that. Afro house, I remember back then there used to be tribal house. I would say that was like still Afro house. And then it became commercial. People would make just music and call it commercial music in South Africa. But that was still Afro house. And now it's called afroteih. So I mean, like you said, it's really, really evolving, but it's still keeping its own distinct feel, which is like the African feel.
Yeah.
You know, like I think that's true, man. The inspiration behind everything. We live, you know, if you can walk past the street in South Africa, you'll see a kid hitting a bucket, you know, acting like they're hitting a drum.
Yeah.
So I think South Africa really is a musical place. And it's nice to hear from people like you, man, that we really have a great future. But another question I would like to ask, you know, a lot of people that are out there that will never get a chance to work with you, or maybe not yet, but I'm sure they would like to know what makes a good song according to Cioz.
What makes a good song?
What makes a good song?
I think a good song has to be interesting from from the first seconds, you know, and has to inspire you. Like as you hear it, has to bring you new ideas.
Yeah.
For a producer, you know, maybe for a person that is not a musician, is not a producer, a good song is a song that stick to your mind with a good melody and everything.
Yes.
But to be a good song for a producer or a musician, you have to do something that actually was never done before, or was done before, but that you never done before.
True.
So try and always to do something different, and by doing so, you end up doing something that probably was never done before.
Very true.
And like that, people who listen to that track and producer that listen to that track are like, oh, wow, this is really inspiring. I really want to go to the studio and try to do something.
Wow, that's amazing, man. So, you know, we are obviously a music school, and we've got a lot of people, you know, one thing that we keep seeing is that a lot of people that haven't studied about music or don't know about the music business, they always seem to, in South Africa, there's a common trend where, I mean, it's not a trend, it is happening, but it's misleading a lot of people to think that labels are not good, you know. Whereas there are a couple of labels that are good, but also in the same essence. DIY, doing it yourself, in South Africa, it works a lot because, you know, you find that there's a lot of labels from South Africa that are really trying to get into the music scene. They sign people, and then, you know, after a couple of months, you hear that an artist was ripped off, you know. So
what do you mean by ripped off?
Ripped off as in, like, you know, there's a couple of cases in South Africa where someone drops a song and then they don't know, they never hear from the label again. I mean, the statistics, did the song do good? I mean, even more than that, people get signed to labels as in signing for a couple of deals, you know, like deals that they can... I mean, I was once given a 10-year contract, you know, and I was like, what am I going to do there? A 10-year contract? Like, I mean, after 5 years, what if we don't feel the same energy, like working together? Am I tied? Or what really happened? So that's the confusion between South Africa and labels or DIY. You know, I would rather ask people to sign songs instead of signing yourself to a label, you know. Unless you know that's a label that has been doing amazing things, not something that just came up and you want to try it out and they're giving you like 10 years. So what suggestion would you have for people who are really confused as should they go to a label and sign, or should they do it themselves and like DIY?
So I would recommend to go for yourself like first, because you have to work yourself like before anything happens. Any contract you're gonna sign, you as a musician, as a producer, as a brand or whatever, you have to work before you. So after that, after you see that your music is working, then it's up to you with who you're gonna collaborate. But before, the important thing is that that alone your thing is working. Then signing to a label, I mean, I signed with Still for Talent, but also because like it was one of the first labels that I liked. Like when I start producing, no, or even before I start producing, when I was really like interested in starting producing.
Takes it way back.
Like the first inspiration like came also from Still for Talent is the first label that I got to know. And so when I was asked, "Do you want to join Still for Talent?" It was like a contract, like 3 years, I think. Yes, Yes, but I think because it's destiny.
Yes. And I mean, also, like you said, it's something that you've been looking at. You know, it was a dream for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I feel like people should really opt for that as well. And if there's a label that you've been looking growing up, I mean, it shows that it is legit if it's like something that has been going for a long time. Instead, because a lot of people, there's a huge trend in SA where people feel like, let me manage you or let me do your things on my own. Whereas you feel like if you need a manager, it's probably because there's some things that you can't do.
Yeah.
But if you can do those things, that means you can do it yourself,
Yeah, that's one thing I was always scared of in the beginning but only because I had time to do stuff myself. So I said, why I need a manager to do that?
Yeah.
But now maybe like growing up and see that there is less and less time, maybe I could think, and I'm starting thinking that maybe I need another figure that is managing only that particular thing,
tools,
Or maybe, the graphics when they need to put them out, because I'm not a graphic, And every time I try to do something, look like paint.
Amazing, man. I mean, we are a music school, but besides that, we've got other pillars, which is like, I mean, the school is formed around 3 pillars, which is music, mindfulness, and entrepreneurship. Just to touch on mindfulness, we've got people who come here as, people that have never performed before, anxiety when you're about to perform and you feel like, oh my God, am I really going to do this? Do I really want to follow this career and am I going to keep freezing in front of people? So when it comes to dealing with performance, how do you deal with anxiety, or do you really have anxiety sometimes?
I mean, yeah, I do. Everybody does. But for me, what works is just not thinking about that you're having a performance. Because if you think about you're having a performance, so you arrive at the venue, okay, maybe 1 hour in advance, and then you're arriving there, and in your mind is just like, oh shit, I have to perform, or shit, I have to perform. Then for 1 hour you stay there with the anxiety. If you forget about it and just 5 minutes before the performance you're like, I have to play. Then it works, because in 5 minutes you get all the anxiety you need to start with,
and it's enough.
It's enough. But not having one bit of anxiety is bad, because that means that you don't care about it.
True, exactly. It actually means that you really value your craft. Whatever you're about to do there. I mean, thinking that people are going to judge you is because you want to perform at your fullest.
Yeah,
man, that's nice to know, because I mean, as a school that deals with mindfulness, it's nice for people to hear that, whatever is going through your mind, a lot of people feel that, you're not the only one, you're not the worst person.
Yeah, but then dealing with anxiety, there are many ways of dealing with it, but I think one way is to translate the feeling of anxiety in something like
anger.
Not even anger, but like in something like when you feel that, it means that you are focusing. It means that you're giving your best in that moment. So translate that feeling in, okay, now I'm really showing everybody.
Kind of like a perfectionist.
Yeah.
Nice. That's great to know, man. Now, a lot of people, especially in South Africa, there's a lot of celeb culture where I feel like overseas, you get to be a celeb if only you that big. People are just people. That's something that we're trying to instill by just inviting people like you, Cioz, to come to Bridges. I mean, you didn't decline our invite because you knew that you're a person. You'd like to be around other people and see how you can work with them. But at the moment, what is your biggest challenge?
My biggest challenge
at the moment?
Ooh, man, my biggest challenge is to keep up the pace. Everything is going very fast around me. I would like to just chill and doing music whenever I feel like, but you have to keep on going with everything that is going around the world. Like, for example, now there is TikTok, for example. Okay, I did a profile, but
no content.
But what am I gonna post? Like, the generation is changing. Everything is always transforming. You have to transform as well. You can never think to stay the same person. So for me, this is a big challenge. This is an everyday challenge, actually.
Well, that's great to know, man, because like I said to you, a lot of people might look at Cioz, you're touring, you're in South Africa now, you're going to perform at a nice event. I mean, you're probably one of the guys that were brought overseas to come perform here. So someone might think that, that guy probably, performs, gets into a flight, goes and sleeps. They don't know that there's a lot that happens. And just not only stuff that happens like work related, like you said. You need to keep up, your sound. You're as good as your last song, You're really as good as your last song. I mean, man, it was nice seeing you in South Africa. I mean, I once thought that if any of us at Bridges Academy would see you, would be maybe at a show overseas. So big ups to Sexy Groovy Love for bringing you.
Yeah.
We're really close with the event. A couple of our guys have played at the stage, so it's quite an amazing event, man. But one thing I want to know about Cioz, I think when we were coming in, I saw that you were kind of, stunned about how the township looks and the dynamics of the township and how busy it is in the streets. It's always busy. But what are you going to miss about South Africa?
What am I going to miss? Oh, man. The thing is that there are many things that I miss. Like, I think the warmth of the people. Like, whenever I perform, whenever there is a party here in South Africa, like, people really give you a lot of love.
Yeah.
And it's like that. It's like people are really kind here. It's like everywhere, at the supermarket, at the petrol station, in the taxi. It's like there is this culture of being kind to the next one, and everybody call each other brother, and every conversation starts with how are you?
Exactly.
And it's something that I will miss.
Wow, that's amazing, man. It's good to know because you're chilling with two South Africans here, and that's something that we don't see as. We don't see it as a quality anymore. It's like we've inherited it as part of life,
Yeah, man, it's super important.
Yeah, I think it evolves around respect. We respect the other person. And, just show, I think past, it has shown us that, you must value people. There's a lot of history in South Africa that way back, it doesn't sound like it was a place like that if you can see how it was before. But I feel like we also, as the younger generation, we moving past that, man. We're all about connecting. And like music, that's another thing. Music in South Africa has made a lot of us to connect to each other, Because, you can be sad, but if you working, we have a culture of singing along, If someone is singing something, another person will catch it, So I feel like that's another thing that makes us resonate or maybe respect each other more. Man, I know you have heard about Bridges for Music, like Bridges Academy. Basically, Bridges for Music is an NPO that started Bridges Academy. So you've seen, you actually spent more than, I thought you were going to spend like 2 hours, but you went more than that. And you actually went to the co-creators and have a chat with them, like, individually, which is something you don't really see from, a person of your caliber. But what do you think about our school and the education model that we have?
I love it. So I also think I love it. I love it. It's like amazing. Like the students are super active. So how do you say proactive?
Proactive. Yeah.
Because it's like as I started, they were directly started with questions
exactly,
or like. I don't know, talking.
Yeah, they're inquisitive.
They
just want to find out more.
They want to find out more and without being scared of talking.
Yeah.
Here, people are not scared of saying something if they want to say it.
Yeah.
And this is a super good value.
Wow.
But also for the school. But also for them, because it's important that if you want to say something, you say it.
You say it.
And I love it. Like everybody has its own computer where he can produce and then he can ask the neighbor, the one next to him, what do you think about it? And there are so many talented people. There's the one who can sing so well, the one who can play the djembe, the one who can do the trumpet with the hands. He can do the trumpet with the hands.
Yeah.
Like it's amazing. So everybody can jam together and can create something to collaborate.
Yeah.
I love it. Then I don't know too much about what happen next.
Yeah.
But already this is amazing.
Oh, thanks, man. Really appreciate, even having this chat with you. Yeah, it's really like an eye-opener that, our role models are actually around us, and they're willing to give us that chance to talk. Just to touch on what you just said now, that our students are not scared to ask. Like I said, one of our pillars is mindfulness. Every morning, we usually have listening circles. We teach everyone to listen attentively, not judge. That's what it stems from. Because, if you're around people that don't judge you, you will never find it hard to ask questions. And I think they take that with them. And as soon as they leave the school, they spread the culture. They teach other people that, this is how you should actually conduct yourself. We're living in a country where there's far less education than most countries in the world. More people in the township in South Africa, they're not educated. So, we're trying to play that role. It doesn't matter that you didn't get that degree. We're here, deep in the township, like in the center of Langa. So it's only fair enough that, everyone that comes in grabs that culture, be someone, spread a lot of kindness,
Man.
It was nice chatting with you, man. I
super
really appreciate you making time for us. Thanks, man.
This mindfulness thing, man, is like it's like super rare to find in a school.
Yes,
because also in other countries, they don't teach it as well.
Teach it down.
It's like so nice that you have something like this here, and it's super important. So thank you for having me.
Thanks to you, man.
Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed this podcast as much as we do making them. Remember, if you'd like to attend any of these workshops live, enroll in any of our upcoming programs. To support the work we do, you can find more information on bridgesformusic.org. Please don't forget to subscribe, as we'll be bringing new inspiring conversations soon. Until next time, keep safe.